The crowned one.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Glad to have you back here at the Crown One. And I have been looking into this article. So it looks like the Helldivers devs have finally responded to the balancing issues with the game itself and some of the patches that they're going to be taking their time to upload or update for the game itself. So let's jump into it. Hey, and if you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for the latest updates and the latest uploads for the latest excuse me my goodness, for the latest content. Oh man, so I'm thinking about doing that over, but I'll keep it pushing. So moving on. Clutch Points via MSNBC, via MSN, is reporting that the Helldivers, it looks like they're starting to respond to a lot of the issues that some of the Helldivers 2 game players have been bringing up for the last few weeks, probably months. I want to say months. And it's the issue of nerfing and buffing. So if you guys are not familiar with the term, nerfing as it relates to Helldivers is when you're taking some of the weapons and even some of the players and kind of dumbing them down to make them less potent against their enemies. Buffing is, and that can also work, nerf can also work against the enemies as well. So you can also nerf some of your enemies. Now buffing has to do with jacking them up, like making them more potent, more powerful, more effective. And it seems like the nerfing and the buffing is working out for the favor of the Terminates and the automatons, where the player weapons are getting nerfed and the enemies themselves are getting buffed. So that's an issue that's been on the rise for the last few weeks. I know it's an issue that I've brought up multiple times on my streams, recordings, and even just offline gameplay with some of my friends. It's starting to come to a head, so to speak, with some of the players. It probably already has for others. I know in some cases it has for me, because people do want the challenge, or at least some, and I'm probably speaking on behalf of all gamers. We want a challenge, but we don't want to get so impossibly overwhelmed that it stops becoming fun. Case in point, and if you guys aren't familiar with Helldivers 2, check it out, do a quick game. Well, I don't know if they have a demo version, but you can go on to some of the YouTube channels and watch some of the gameplay. You can even check out some gameplay on my channel as well. And I won't try to get too much into the weapons names, but there are certain weapons, I will say, that are, when it started out, when they start uploading the new weapons, when the devs started uploading the new weapons, they were pretty OP. I'm talking one-shotting some large Terminates, large enemies, with some of the weapons, not all of them, but with some particular specialized weapons, just one-shotting them, dropping them. And later on down the line, I guess the game commander, I believe it's called the game commander, the person who writes the programming for the game itself and sends those updates to how it basically impacts how we play the game. He or she started running those updates, and all of a sudden we're no longer one-shotting, these large opponents. And it started to become a little frustrating because you gave us a toy and then you took it back and you scratched it. You don't want to say you broke it. You maybe took an arm or a leg or something, took a limb, gave it back to us and said, okay, now keep playing it as if it still had a limb. And that's that can get a little frustrating, especially when you're expecting to see the same thing that you had seen with the weapon that you had before, using it the same way you've been using it. So now, moving on, you see in the headlines the Helldivers 2 devs, Arrowhead developers, are starting to look more into the complaints itself, and it looks like they're going to be getting ready for a patch. So let's jump into the article real quick. And it says, developers of Helldivers 2 have announced a delay in the release of the upcoming weapons balance patch to ensure it is thoroughly prepared. Arrowhead Game Studios, the creators of the popular cooperative shooter, have faced significant controversy over previous balance patches, which many players felt were overly harsh. And this just goes to what I was saying earlier. And I can tell you that from my own personal experience. It's, again, we don't, we're not trying to tell you what to do with your game, but if we're to have, I would say, this symbiotic relationship where you guys develop the games, we play it, test it out, and what have you, being completely overwhelmed is it's a little insane. Some of the balancing issues, not just with the weapons, but also with the enemy per player issues. So not everybody goes 4-man in. Sometimes people do solos, sometimes there's duos, sometimes there's trios. And it seems to be the issue of balancing where regardless however many players on the field or on the board, the enemy opposition count is still to the degree as if there were 4 players on there all the time, regardless of how many players are actually on the field. That's been my experience, especially when I'm trying to extract. It gets massively overwhelming. I mean, and it seems for some reason, maybe this is the AI, they start to hoard the extraction spot. I might have called for extraction. Extraction spot may be empty, and you call for extraction, and then, of course, the bugs come, which is kind of expected. They see a big beam of light in the sky. Okay, what is that, But now, or even now, but lately, you see just an overwhelming amount of bugs, automatons, what have you, just crowdsourcing that one spot, and they're coming in droves. I'm talking AI bots dropping them, and they just keep coming, keep flowing. It's like, okay, we get that this is supposed to be a challenging game, but that's a lot of this, again, just balancing issues that the developers have been dealing with. So despite being a relatively new title, Helldivers 2 has had tumultuous history with weapon balancing and updates. The last patch introduced several nerfs that significantly reduced the effectiveness of popular weapons. Notably, the fan favorite Eruptor had its magazine capacity halved and its explosion damage reduced, leading to widespread dissatisfaction among players. This sparked backlash from the community, who felt these changes detracted from the game's enjoyment. I mean, it's right there in black and white, y'all. So I really enjoy Helldivers 2. I really, really, really do. When I found out back in August, I was like, what is this game? What's this thing coming out? Yada, yada. And when it finally came out and I started playing it, of course, initially we had a hard time trying to get on the servers. But when we were in, I mean, it was just like, what is this? Like, oh my goodness. Just gameplay, explosions, weapons, electricity, fire. Just using all the elements except water and wind. But yeah, I mean, and then after a while, it's like, okay, now that we've had the honeymoon phase, now it's time, quote unquote, for the marriage. What's this stuff that's going on? Okay, we're having balancing issues. Our weapons are getting nerfed. The bugs have become more strong. They're getting buffed. And now it's starting to, I guess it's starting to seethe into some of the players, and you can even see it on the Discord chat here. So let's continue reading. Hopefully I don't need a subscription. Okay, so recently community manager Thomas Peterson confirmed on the Helldivers 2 Discord that the development team needs more time for the upcoming patch. Quote, more time, we're cooking, Peterson stated in a response to a player's query about the patch's release timeline. This announcement indicates that while the team is actively working on the update, it is not yet ready for release. Now, I will say to their credit, they have acknowledged that there are balancing issues on Helldivers 2, and they are addressing it, and they're saying it's going to take some time. We get it. Coding is not, it's not a quick process. So let's just give them their time. They said that they're working on it, and I mean, they have. I will say, the CEO and the devs there are pretty open about their process, especially when it comes to them being on Discord. You have the community managers, some a little more cordial than others. But you also have the CEO and also, again, the game master on Discord just explaining the process. So I guess the issue has risen so much and so far that now they're starting to do a patch for the balancing issues. I really, really, really hope that they go back to the original design of the weapons themselves and just let it fly. I get it. They're trying to make, we can't say their intentions were ill will. I mean, I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, it's a game. But I don't believe it's ill will for the fact that they're addressing the issue and talking about how they're going to work on a patch. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Hopefully we can get the spear. Hopefully the aiming mechanism for the spear can be addressed. Because here, let's see if I can pause this. I don't know if it's going to be a copyright issue here. But yeah, I like the spear. I prefer the spear. I use the quasar cannon. I said I wasn't going to get into the details, but the spear is like a stinger missile. It needs to lock on a target. And when the locking mechanism for the spear is 50-50. And if you have like a charger coming straight at you, full speed, full stride, that becomes very handy when you're able to lock on. But if not, I mean, good luck. So I kind of switched to the quasar cannon, which is awesome, especially when it comes to long range. So we'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited about it. I'd like to get back into it, but I'm starting to stream X Defiant on Kick, Twitch, and also YouTube. So if you get a chance to check it out, man, I appreciate your support. And if you're enjoying this content, like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for the latest updates on the latest uploads. You guys stay easy. I'm going to lunch. Later.